So that's the ick. It's a turnoff. That's all it is. You want to share your story, that's fine. But Cameron Brink has a story that's gone viral.
The WNBA is in absolute chaos after the Sparks' most shocking move yet. They just invited male players to practice with their women's team, and the internet is losing it. Fans are outraged, debates are spiraling, and Cameron Brink just clapped back with a response so brutal it left everyone stunned. But is she setting the record straight or making things even worse? This controversy is escalating fast, and trust me, you won't believe what's really happening behind the scenes.
And she's good looking.
That's a part of the story.
Right.
You would need a stepladder, Covina.
She's a beautiful,
You're right.
talented, athletic, beautiful woman. That's part of the story because they put out an ad, if you didn't realize what's going on here, they put out an ad looking for male practice players to try to up the women's game. They've used USC men's basketball players in the past, but these professional women are looking for male practice players to up the level of their play, which I think is cool. But as predicted, the comment section is all creep dudes like, yeah, I'll let Cameron Brink back up into me.
Dudes are so creepy.
God!
To the point where it gave her the ick, like, ew! And she's rooting for gay players. That's what she said.
She's saying they better all be gay dudes because...
What's the deal with the Los Angeles Sparks wanting to bring in male players for tryouts? And why has it sent some WNBA fans into a complete meltdown? More importantly, why is Cameron Brink the one shutting down the backlash? So, here's what went down. The Sparks, in their infinite wisdom, decided to bring in male players to enhance competition at practice. Not exactly groundbreaking, right?
Making a major change before the 2025 season. Last Sunday, the team announced that they were hosting a tryout for male players to compete against them in training camp and practices throughout the season.
But the moment the Sparks made it official, boom, social media exploded. Suddenly, it's a crime against women's basketball, a betrayal of everything the league stands for. Critics are acting like the team just handed roster spots to a bunch of guys from LA Fitness. But Cameron Brink wasn't having it. The Sparks' rising star clapped back at the outrage, making it crystal clear. This isn't about replacing WNBA talent, it's about making the team better. So why are people so mad?
The Sparks, our Instagram account, posted that we're having like male practice player tryouts. And I think a couple other basketball accounts have like reposted it and like said like, oh, this like looks fun, like men go try out. And all of the comments are just completely out of pocket.
Cameron Brink, fresh off unpacking her bags in LA, suddenly found herself in the middle of the dumbest controversy of the season. The Sparks decided to bring in male practice players because apparently iron sharpens iron. And of course, the internet lost its mind. Forget the real issues in women's basketball, like criminally low salaries or the fact that half the games aren't even televised. Nope. The true villain here? A couple of guys running pick and rolls at practice. And Brink? Yeah, she wasn't having it.
So I guess my confession is I'm really icked out by the potential new practice players.
Oh, it's happening. The WNBA is finally bringing in male practice players to push their athletes to another level. Revolutionary, right? Who would have thought that elite competition actually makes players better? Shocking. It's almost like iron sharpens iron. Who could have possibly seen this coming? But of course, not everyone was thrilled. The anti-male practice squad lost their minds. This is brainwashing. They're trying to replace women with men. The usual outrage brigade went into full meltdown mode. Twitter threads, angry TikToks, think pieces about how this is an attack on women's sports. They wanted Cameron Brink to go full girl power mode and reject the idea entirely. But Brink? She had better things to do, like, actually preparing for her pro career instead of getting caught up in a pointless culture war. And here's where Caitlin Clark comes in. Back at Iowa, she wasn't just torching college defenders, she was sharpening her game against male practice players. And look where that got her.
Like, it's the modern day honk. Like, no woman is gonna be like, ooh.
Did he honk the horn at me?
Yeah, it's no woman is gonna ever. Yeah, it's the modern day cat call.
Virtual
really
cat
is.
calling, essentially.
They're never
Behind
gonna
a
be
keyboard.
like, oh my goodness, I wonder what this guy's all about. It's never gonna work with your creepy comment.
But
ever.
Based on what Cameron Brink said, I'm very much in agreement. They got to screen these dudes. If they're looking for dudes as practice players to practice against the WNBA women, How many guys do you think would go there looking at it as well as like a dating opportunity?
One of the most skilled, polished rookies the league has ever seen. Coincidence? Hardly. The best players push themselves against the best competition. The NBA has known this for decades. Now the WNBA is finally trying to catch on, as announced by the Sparks. For years, WNBA teams have struggled to match the physicality and speed of the NBA. It's been one of the league's biggest challenges, getting players ready for the grueling battles that come with professional play. But Clark's training method, going up against stronger, faster competition, clearly paid off. Now, the Sparks are following suit, trying to integrate male practice players to help their team level up. And honestly, it's about time. Instead of fighting over narratives, maybe people should just focus on what actually works. If male practice players helped Clark refine her game to historic levels, why wouldn't the WNBA embrace that same approach? The goal is improvement, right?
Okay, I haven't seen the post. Can you give me an example?
It's basically just like a flyer. It's like me, Dearica, Rakia, and Kelsey.
Well, here's the roadmap. But wait, where was all this outrage before? Where were the think pieces and the X meltdowns when Caitlin Clark was lighting up male practice players at Iowa? Oh, that's right. Because it wasn't a problem then. Back in college, it was called preparing for elite competition. But now that the Sparks have been announced they want to be doing it, suddenly it's a betrayal of women's sports. The double standard is actually hilarious. People scream that the WNBA needs to be more competitive, but the second teams take real steps to improve, it's outrage mode activated. Pick a lane. Either you want the league to be great, or you want it to be a feel-good participation trophy festival where no one ever pushes their limits. And let's not even start with the ridiculous, why don't NBA teams practice against WNBA teams? Argument. Like, do people really think NBA players have nothing better to do? These guys play 82 games a season, travel nonstop, deal with injuries, and barely have time for their own practices. Meanwhile, WNBA teams trying to bring in male practice players is suddenly controversial? Make it make sense.
And usually we use like USC college guys that also like do it for the women's team at USC.
Okay.
And all the comments are like let Cameron Brink back me down, or something about Rakia or something about Kelsey. And now I'm just like, first of all, we need to heavily vet these men.
Oh, truly.
Background Preferably checks they're gay.
Sure.
And even when NBA teams do practice, who do they play against? Oh, that's right, their own teammates. Because that's how chemistry is built. The best way to prepare for NBA competition is by going up against other NBA players, not by scrimmaging against players from a different league with different physical attributes and play styles. It's not a matter of NBA players refusing to play women or some deep conspiracy to keep WNBA players down. It's just how professional sports work. Football teams don't practice against college teams. Soccer teams don't bring in high schoolers for a warm-up. And NBA teams aren't out here looking for outside scrimmages when they have elite-level talent already available in their own locker room. And let's be real. What exactly would an NBA team gain from practicing against a WNBA team? They aren't preparing to play against women in actual games. They're preparing for matchups against other NBA teams where speed, size, and physicality play a completely different role. The training staff and coaches structure every drill and scrimmage to mirror real game conditions. Playing against a WNBA team wouldn't help an NBA squad fine-tune their defense against Steph Curry's shooting range or Giannis Antetokounmpo's unstoppable drives. It just doesn't make sense from a practical standpoint.
And I ain't talking about her specifically, but like these the same women that post a booty pic on online, post a cat online, post the seductive and sexual stuff online. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you know most women are teasers, but not true. No, I'm telling y'all, go look up the #1 fantasy by American women, their #1 sexual fantasy. It lets you know everything you need to know about them. Rarely believe when you meet them, when they say stuff on public platforms, don't believe what they say. Just watch what they do.
But of course, the people pushing this argument don't actually care about NBA practice schedules or game preparation. No, they just want to stir the pot and imply that NBA players are afraid to face WNBA players, as if LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or Nikola Jokic are just sitting around dodging phone calls from WNBA teams begging for a pickup game. Trust me, that's not happening. These guys are focused on winning championships, securing contracts, and managing their bodies through one of the most grueling sports seasons in the world. The last thing on their minds is scheduling an exhibition match that does nothing to help them achieve those goals. So, NBA players aren't avoiding WNBA players out of fear or disrespect. They just have zero reason to practice against them. It's not a snub. It's just basketball reality. Cameron Brink did what any sensible athlete would do. She ignored the noise and kept it moving. Because here's the thing, real hoopers know that playing against better competition is the fastest way to improve. It doesn't matter if that competition comes from men, robots, or a group of highly skilled raccoons. If it makes you better, you do it. And let's be real, this isn't some groundbreaking concept. Athletes across all sports constantly seek out challenges that push them beyond their comfort zones. Whether it's boxers sparring against heavier fighters, tennis players training with stronger opponents, or football players running drills against top-tier defenders, it's all about leveling up. The best don't shy away from competition. They embrace it.
I'm trying to beat Joanna.
You don't have to do that.
I'm trying to beat Joanna. I'm trying to beat Joanna.
It's the male team tryout. Are you trying to make it Sparks? This is not a Sparks tryout either.
So why was there even a debate about Brink playing against men? Because unfortunately, every time a female athlete dares to test herself against male counterparts, people lose their minds. They act as if it's some sort of betrayal to women's sports instead of recognizing it for what it is, a strategic move to get better. If iron sharpens iron, then why would anyone be against an athlete choosing the hardest possible grind? At the end of the day, critics can talk all they want, but Brink's game will do the real talking. If playing against elite competition makes her stronger, faster, and more skilled, then she made the right choice. Because when the lights are bright and the game is on the line, the work she put in, no matter who it was against, will be the difference between being good and being unstoppable. The people who are mad about this will keep fuming, shouting into the void and typing furious comments. But guess what? The WNBA will continue evolving, whether they like it or not. No amount of outrage is going to stop progress. Women's basketball is growing, the players are getting stronger, the fan base is expanding, and the league is becoming more competitive by the day. So what's next? Will these critics demand that WNBA teams remove weight rooms entirely because lifting heavy things is too manly? Maybe they'll start claiming that dunking should be outlawed because it's too aggressive for women's sports. Or perhaps they'll insist that fast breaks be banned since running at full speed is unfair to defenders who prefer a leisurely pace. Why stop there? Should three-pointers be outlawed because long-range shooting is too flashy and not fundamental enough?
But it bothers me when women talk about their icks. Like, his comedy bit's funny, but when some girl's like, he did this and it gave me the ick, it drives me nuts, because if a guy said...
At this rate, they might even argue that the WNBA should return to playing in high school gyms because selling out arenas is too ambitious. Or maybe they'll want to shorten the games to 2 quarters because 40 minutes of basketball is too exhausting for women. The ridiculous takes will keep coming, but the league isn't listening. The reality is that the WNBA isn't asking for permission to evolve. The players are lifting, training, improving, and proving their critics wrong every single day. Women's basketball isn't just surviving, it's thriving. And the people complaining? They'll still be stuck in the past, watching the game pass them by while the WNBA moves forward into the future. Either way, Cameron Brink isn't losing sleep over it, and neither is Caitlin Clark. While social media erupts with debates, analysts dissect every angle, and fans go back and forth about what should or shouldn't have happened, these two are locked in on what actually matters: the game. They're not caught up in the drama. They're not scrolling through Twitter to see who's taking sides.
Can you imagine if you were still on the Sparks and they show up to practice? It would be unserious.
Get out. Get out. Hell no.
Kelsey Plum, if you are watching this episode of Gills Arena, Brandon said he will pick you up 94 feet.
That's gonna help her ball handling. I'm making the practice squad. Swear to God. I'm gonna make the team. I'm going with a lace front.
They're in the gym, putting up shots, breaking down film, and preparing for the next challenge. Because at the end of the day, that's what defines them. Not the noise, not the controversy, but their talent, their dedication, and their ability to dominate on the court. Brink is a defensive powerhouse, swatting shots and controlling the paint. Clark is an offensive juggernaut, drilling logo threes and making defenses look silly. So while everyone else is arguing, making hot takes, and debating what this all means for women's basketball, Brink and Clark are focused on what they do best, playing the game they love. And really, isn't that what matters most? The game doesn't care about the drama. It rewards those who put in the work. And these two? They're working.